This is Seven Seas Cruising Association. We're presenting Aqua Maps Marine Navigation. We have two of the top Aqua Maps developers, Claudio and Giorgio, who will be sharing their latest work on Aqua Maps. This is being recorded. You will be getting a copy of the recording in email after the end of this presentation. My name is Joan Conover. I'm president of SSCA, and we hope you enjoy this presentation. And with that, I will turn it over to Claudio. And Claudio, do you want to unmute your screen there so you can start your presentation? There, very good.
Hi, this is Giorgio. I'm one of the three founders of the GC company, the owner of the AquaMap product. I don't know if you all know the AquaMap product. Anyway, AquaMap is an advanced marine navigation application to be used on smartphone and tablets. And it's very similar to a chart plotter, and all the function that you are happy to see on a chart plotter are included, and much more. For example, as usual, as like any other chart plotter, we use a basic cartography coming from the hydrographic offices like NOAA and Canadian Hydrographic Office and many other in the world. But on top of this, we decided to add additional information to help the end user navigate safely, like, for example, the US Army Corps of Engineers survey. This data is present almost in all the inland waterways in the United States, and it is updated weekly. In addition to this, we also include Coast Guard data, like the lights list, as well as the local notice to mariners. And this is updated daily. And on top of that, we add also the most famous community point of interest, like Waterway Guide and Active Captain. Just to have an application that is close as much as possible to the chart plotters we have on the market, we added more functionality like anchor alarm, and our application is the only one having a mirroring function. So you can leave a device on board with the anchor alarm and go to the restaurant with another device doing the mirroring and checking in real time your boat position. Then we have other functionality like the route planner to calculate an automatic route or a manual, or define a manual route. Then later Claudio will go in deep on this function. It's a brand new function. The route explorer, so you will be able to identify the next hazard, the next bridge, the next fuel station while you are navigating your route. And then we connect most of the other devices on board through a Wi-Fi connection, like the anemometer or the AIS or the echo sounder, in a way that you have all the information while navigating on a single screen. Our application is working on both Android and iOS. It's not a laptop or PC application, unfortunately, but we decided to concentrate only on the Android and iOS because those are the smartphone, most famous smartphone and tablet. We take safety of navigation really seriously. We feel that the classic hydrographic office data is not enough today for a safety navigation, especially for pleasure navigation, because those charts are built mainly for the commercial navigation and military army navigation. So for the pleasure navigation, we decided, as I said before, to add a number of additional layers in a way that we can improve the safety. Not only, as I said, the US Army Corps of Engineers, the Coast Guard data. The Coast Guard data has been included also in Canada in implementing the NAVWARN information, but also with increasing the update of the data as much as possible. As we know, the hydrographic office is usually updating the charts weekly or bi-weekly. Some hydrographic office also monthly. So we decided to implement a weekly update wherever is possible and a daily update for the Coast Guard data. What else? I think we can go in deep into the new features, and I would let Claudio speak about the new route planner.
Okay, let me just switch on the app itself. Okay, this is the app. Well, Giorgio said a correct thing, saying that we do not support the PC, but just for people that like Apple devices, in fact, the app works also on the Mac, the last version of the Mac, and this is the app running on the Mac itself. It will be a little bit different as interface compared to the iPad or Android, but it's anyway very similar. Okay, a very brief introduction for the people that does not know our interface. So when we go in deep with the route planner, will be simpler. We show the map. Quite obviously, you have some main button on the screen. Starting from the top left, you have the possibility to center on your GPS position and to record a track. And from the right, you have the possibility to search amongst your data or any other places in the world. You have the possibility to switch on an additional layer of weather. And on the top left, you have the possibility to download the area that you are interested on. Then you have the main button, let me say, that is the settings button, the menu button, where you substantially can access most of the Aqua map functionality. At the top, you have a section that helps you understanding the app that I suggest for the people that does not know our app in details to take a look. Then we have the chart store where you can purchase your chart. There is a section that allows to add all your boat data. Pay attention that this is important when we will see the route planner functionality. Then the route planner that will go in deep. Anchor alarm, Giorgio quickly explained, it is a quite powerful anchor alarm with mirroring and many other functionalities. Then we have a section where you can switch on and off a set of overlay. And then the section of the most advanced features from marine forecast, where substantially you can switch on a set of different layers from the currents, the wind, waves, other information. You can also switch on a layer of a weather station that is a runtime, real-time information about the weather. Then we have the satellite that will allow you to easily change the level of transparency of the satellite information. Route Explorer, Giorgio quickly explained, it is an additional feature, quite interesting, but also unfortunately quite long to explain in detail. Substantially give you information on the route of the track that you are following, giving information on next marina with your fuel, or next danger, or the next bridge that could be dangerous for your trip. Then we have the section where you can connect the external devices. We connect through Wi-Fi and using NMEA 183 protocol. We receive a set of information like depth, wind, and AIS, also the echo sounder. Then we have the section of the local data specific for US and Canada. We already said about the US Army Corps of Engineer. Just to see live what does it mean, we can see some specific area. This is the famous local folly. This is data that we update weekly. So weekly, this showing if it's changed and if there is a new dredging or a new survey from from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineer, that will immediately change on your system. The app has a set of functionality that allow to automatically update most of the data used from the cartography, from the community database, and so on. There is the section of the communities with your account, live sharing, a very interesting feature that allow you to see other mariner around you. We have also the option to see the Bob 423 tracks. I don't know if any of you, I suppose a lot of you knows this name. Anyway, in our application, simply switching on this setting, you are automatically access to all the Bob track and automatically updated as soon as Bob update from itself. Then there is a list of settings for your spatial configuration, like coloring, measure of units, and many other, let's say, small settings. Okay, this is a very brief and quick introduction to the app. Now I will go in deep on the new feature that we just introduced in our application. That is the route planner feature. Route planner is our concept of what is normally called auto routing, but for our point of view, it's much more, because we think that is very important that the people does not consider auto routing in the same way as you could consider when you are in a car. So you have to consider auto routing as a tool to help you calculating and design the right route for yourself. But you have to pay attention to your safety and to mix and to check what is calculated. And we try to create a tool that help you doing this. Now, let's see how. These are the main setting of the route planner. The first part is substantially to allow you to set the type of resolution that you want. Substantially, with a high resolution, the calculation is done, let's say, also for small areas, but it obviously taking more time. Then we have the safety check. This is a very important setting that I can show you more in detail, but substantially with strongs means that the calculation is done only considering the area where, from a cartographic point of view, you are safe going through with your boat. With the weak, instead, let's say, the algorithm can take some risk to allow you to calculate a path. And we will see more in detail how does it mean. Then there is the section. This is quite special feature because substantially you can instruct the system or the application to use any track or route that you have present in the application. And simply switching on or off these settings, the system or the algorithm uses the existing route. Not only in reality the existing, but the view that are shown on the map. So substantially you can select which track or route you want to follow for this specific calculation, simply switching on or off the display of the route itself. Then two small settings about the check of the safety on the track. This is something special, especially when using tracks on complex area. It is possible that the track goes through area that are dangerous and that are to be passed when there is a high tide. So a normal standard calculation will not allow to calculate using the track. And this switch allows instead to use the track even if it's going through some dangerous area. And then there is the priority, so how much you want to use the track or route that are present on the screen. Finally, there are the settings for the draft and the clearance to be used for the calculation. The one on the left side are the one coming from your boat, so are probably the corresponding draft and clearance of your boat. If you want, you can add some margin depending on the safety that you want to add in the path calculation itself.
18 feet.
Okay, George is suggesting me to switch in feet, so it's more clear for you, and he's right. Okay. So now you can see the number in feet. Okay, let's see how it works. For the people that are used to our previous routing or route editing, we introduced a new gesture that is the long press. It's a sort of shortcut to instruct the system to calculate a route or to start the editing on the route. So if I long press in any position, the system automatically immediately asks me if has to create a route with two options. The start from means that the route will start from the point that I just selected, and the navigate to is instead an option that calculates the route from the GPS position to the point that I just used. Now consider that our GPS position is in Italy, select the start from. Then I can select the destination, so let me put anywhere a destination. The system starts a calculation. You can interrupt the calculation pressing the cancel button. The interaction with the system is stopped meanwhile the calculation is done. When it's completed, you will see on the screen the calculated path with some special symbol where there are hazards along the calculated path. The hazard we will go more in deep later are substantially area where the algorithm advise you to pay particular attention because there could be something dangerous for the navigation that has to be considered and evaluated when following the route. On the left side, you have a summary of the information of the route, so with the distance, the time and fuel. Time and fuel are based on the information you added in the My Box section, so depending on the average consumption and the average speed of your boat. Then there is the section of the hazard and the list of added waypoint. Each new waypoint I add on the system, a new one is added here. I can edit quickly the route directly from the left panel, deleting an element from it. I can also change the coordinate, tapping and inserting a defined coordinate by hands if needed. And I can add a waypoint, not graphically, but searching in the system. The search is done amongst the currently active elements in the system, and whatever you find, you can add pressing the Add Waypoint button on the right. Okay. Now, up to now, we have seen what I can define as standard auto routing. So substantially, you select a point and the system calculates all the best path as you have seen, is using this track because I selected the use visible tracking route. So this is the Bob 423 tracks for the intracoastal waterway passage, and the algorithm used it to follow as much as possible this track. But I want to make some changes because maybe zooming in a place, I see something that I don't like, or I want to do something different. Okay, and here started the mixed behavior of our system. So from the bottom below, you can switch from auto to manual. Here it's important to understand what does it mean, this switch. This is not meaning transform all the route or the calculated from auto to manual, as many of the other application does. This means that from now onwards, the action and the editing that I will do is to be considered manual. So if I make any change, this change is a manual change. So means this is something, you see that this changes also the color of the track below, that the system will not modify. It's something that I'm extracting the algorithm to do something different. Each single. So I can edit this portion of the track in a independent way, let's say, from the rest of all the rest of the calculation has not changed because I'm doing some specific correction in this area. This is, from our point of view, very important and very powerful because substantially allow you to take advantage of the automatic calculation, but at the same time reinforce the idea that you can check and you can correct what has been calculated without, let's say, having to redo the full route manually. Then I can switch again auto. You see nothing has changed here because this has been done in manual and remain in manual. And I can continue my editing, adding additional waypoint or whatever I want to do. So this is something that we feel as quite powerful, even if it has to be, let's say, understood and also needs probably some time of usage before to take full advantage, because I can understand it could be a little bit more complex than what is a normal path calculation. I want to show you some interesting cases. Just to complete quickly the editing phase, when you have completed, you can press the save button and you have two options. Simply save the changes or save the changes and immediately navigate the route. The other option is the cancel, where you completely delete what you have done. And in case you are editing an existing route, you throw away the changes. Let me close for a moment this route. And let me calculate a path here. Just 1 second. Okay. What I want to show you is the power of the mixed of the additional information of the US Army Corps of Engineers together with the automatic route calculation. This is a quite complex passage, and as you can see, the algorithm calculate the passage avoiding most, if not all, sorry, I did a wrong movement. Okay, this is because the US Army Corps of Engineer is very detailed and continually updated. So mixed together with automatic calculation using this data, we think is a very powerful tool. A small note, the algorithm uses the US Army Corps of Engineer if it is shown on the map. So substantially the algorithm uses what is shown on the map in this moment. If the US Army Corps of Engineer is switched off, it will not use it. If it is switched on, like now, it uses it for the calculation. What I want to show you is also that even if you are not a fan of the automatic calculation, and so you prefer to use a manual calculation, the system, the app, anyway calculate for you all the possible danger along the, let's say, the manual route. So even if you want to draw your route completely by yourself in a manual way, the system highlights any area that you intersect that could be a danger for your navigation, for draft or for clearance issues. So also considering bridges and other elements. And for each of these hazards, we give some information, like the distance and the type of problem. And there is also a sort of leveling about the problem, from the warning to the danger to the very critical, and also on the coloring from a yellow to a red coloring to substantially also give us an additional info about the problem that has been found by the alert. I talk quite a lot about this. Giorgio, you think that I have to show something more? Because maybe speaking, I lost something.
No, I was thinking maybe we could do a test here showing what happened with the automatic routing without the US Army Corps of Engineers.
Yeah.
You should leave both the route.
Okay.
You can do one with and one without.
Sorry, I did the wrong. I forgot to move it out. So now
you can
save.
save this.
Okay.
And then switch off the US Army Corps of Engineers.
Okay.
And see what happens if we do the same.
Okay, I do the same. Now I can switch on this Usace.
Yeah, you may in some case see the difference.
Well,
yeah, in this case maybe.
this case is not so bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. Anyway, there are other places where the cartography from NOAA, if you do the same in the Lockwood Folly, you will see that there are big differences, it's for sure.
Yeah, I have not chosen a right.
Anyway, just to reinforce the concept, whatever you have on the screen is used by the algorithm. If you have the US Army Corps of Engineers or the Coast Guard buoy on the screen, then they are used too.
One place that is quite complex is also this one.
Yeah, that's very complex.
Okay, so try to summarize to see if I explained most of the route planner feature. Sorry, let me go. Okay, so with the route planner, you have two different settings. One is the manual and one is the automatic. You can switch among manual and automatic with the button below. In automatic, substantially is a standard auto routing, but where everything is automatically calculated by the system between the waypoint that you add. In manual is, let's say, old style route editing, where each segment is substantially aligned, nothing more. And but even if you are in manual, all the possible danger are calculated. This side is the editing view. If you are in a smaller, sorry, this I forgot. This is a typical iPad configuration where anyway you can reduce the window having more space available. If you are on iPhone or Android phone, in reality, what you wish to see is just this window in, let's say, let me show, in quite reduced, something like this, in a quite reduced space. And when you tap on this, you will get this window in a full view. So it's obviously the iPhone or the phone have less space on the screen. So we prefer to put a much smaller window to allow you to have the full cartography in your hands. The additional settings that you have is the level of resolution, the safety check that allow you to select if you want a strong or a weak. Okay, I've not shown what is the difference among strong and weak. Let me show. Let me start from the beginning. Okay. Okay. If I try to go, I don't know, here. The system is highlighting a very, very dangerous area because let's say, the depth here is not enough to guarantee that with the boat I can go through, because it's from 0 to 5.9 feet. If this is something, if this is just at the starting, even if with the strong you can do. But if this is something that is in the middle, with a strong will not allow you to go through this area. Instead, with the weak setting, will allow you to go through the area, because in certain part of the world, due to the tide, the depths are very low. So the only way to allow you to go there and to have a path calculation is to go in area that is, let's say, theoretically are impossible to go through, because this is a 0 to 5.9 feet, but you have 6 feet or 8 feet of tide. In reality, this is an area where you can go through. So the weak allow to go in area that are, from a cartographic point of view, dangerous for yourself. Instead, the strong will not allow you to pass through this type of area. Well, I talk a lot, so maybe I forgot something, but I don't know if you have any questions.
Yeah, there are a couple of questions.
3 questions. One is if it's possible to use the autopilot.
Okay, yes, it's possible to use the autopilot, meaning that after you calculate the route is exactly as a standard route, a manual route. And in this case, you can activate the route, and with the Wi-Fi connection, if in your network you have an autopilot, you can connect the autopilot and have the autopilot follow the route. The autopilot function was present obviously also previously. So let's say in some way, as there is no a direct connection between the route planner and the autopilot. And at the same time, I strongly suggest to pay attention about having a fully automatic calculated route, then followed with an autopilot, because it's something that we consider dangerous. So this is why we also introduced the manual and all this warning along the route.
Yeah, the main reason of the hybrid route calculation we implemented is because we feel quite unsafe to use only an automatic routing, and especially with the kind of cartography we manage every day. We know that there are several errors, and during our test, we reported so many errors into the cartography to NOAA and other hydrographic office. So we strongly suggest before you use these routes, these automatic routes, to double check them very in deep and analyze all the alert we show on the route itself. Then you can use also the autopilot, but be very careful.
Another question is the route planner determine a path through the ICW. How can I force it to go outside?
Well, in reality, normally the algorithm does not use the internal intracoastal waterway. iForce did with the use visible track and route. If now I try to make a path calculation, because obviously the intracoastal waterway it's longer than going from external navigation. It is much straight. There is much less turn, and then depending obviously on the type of navigation that you prefer. Just 1 second to complete the calculation. By the way, on the iPad is faster than on my PC, because it uses we use graphic resources for making calculation, and on iPad is much better than my PC for this type of elaboration.
Claudio, this is Joan.
Yeah.
Do you need to be online all the time? I have a question here from Greg Mulvaney. Or can you update the charts periodically? You have the offline mode too.
You can update. Okay, we have the path calculation. Sorry for the. You see that it's not going through the intracoastal waterway. I was forcing previously selecting the use of the track to follow the track, because obviously this path.
Okay, you touch.
I touched that they should have not touched. This path is much faster and quicker than going internally to the intracoastal waterway if you don't mind to go on the ocean. So the algorithm tends not to go through the intracoastal waterway if you don't force you with the
usually calculate always the shortest path. So for sure it's the offshore one. There are other questions.
No, I not answered to John.
Yeah.
So,
We were
the next
going
question. Do we need to be online all the time?
No,
we can
no.
chart periodically?
Absolutely. You can be offline as much as you want, and the update is there is a section of the application for the update. Substantially, the application try to update the data when you are connected to internet. You can select what you want to connect and the type of connection, meaning that they always can also use a pure cellular connection that could cause some cost, or simply when you are in a Wi-Fi, or eventually you say, no, I don't want any automatic update, I just want to do manually. And in this case, each time there is an update, for example, for the maps, will appear here a red icon showing the number of tiles to be updated, and you can select to update manually at that moment.
The other question is if our auto routing is using the weather.
No, our auto routing at the moment is not using the weather. You can overlay the weather meanwhile you are editing your route, but this is not used by the algorithm itself to calculate and to use this information to optimize your path. This is something that we have in mind for our future, but for the moment, this algorithm is not using the weather information.
Yeah, and I think also the following question, does it has a sail mode? We don't have a sail mode
No,
yet.
we don't have a sail mode because substantially...
also ask if use current.
Yeah, no, we don't use current too. I mean, it's not for the sailing environment, so we don't use the weather, we don't use the...
We don't use additional info,
mode.
yeah, related to the weather, currents, waves, and things like this. It just uses information for the cartography. I understand the request, and it's something that we are already thinking about, but at the moment it's not using it.
No.
Other questions?
How do you overlay predefined satellite images or input polars?
Okay, we don't
satellite images.
Satellite images, it's you can switch on and off as you want, and you can perché PC. Il mio PC sei parlato. For the predict wind, we do not overlay the predict wind, meaning that we do not interface directly the predict wind instruments.
And then now the question is to conclude that it's for tablet and phone only.
Yeah, it's for tablet and phone, but as Claudio said, it can work also on a Mac laptop with M processor, right?
Yes, exactly.
Faccio,
Can we export the route to our MFD or plotter?
You can export the route using GPX or KML. With GPX or KML, then depends your MFD if it's able to import KML or GPX.
Yeah, usually all the chart plotter and MFD can import GPX file. We already tested with several chart plotter. We just experienced a problem with the home port from Garmin, but I think we are going to fix it with the next release, no?
Here are the different type of sharing.
Support standard.
Oh, okay.
You can
information that we put. So
yeah, okay.
So you can select a different format, and then you can share through mail or different type of means depending on the hardware that you have. So if it's a PC, you can save on the disk. If it's an iOS device, you can use iDrop and things like this.
Last question, can you overlay radar data?
No.
No.
No. You can overlay AIS data if you receive it through the Wi-Fi connection, so you can see other boats around you. You can also receive AIS connecting with some hardware like the data hub from Predictwind or connecting to other app like Bot Beacon. You can also receive the AIS through internet, but we cannot overlay radar information from the bot. And we would, but in reality, none of the radar maker for the moment shared their protocol, so we can overlay it.
Uno suggerisce che Black Stacks and Android Studio enable Android apps to run on.
Yeah, we heard someone simulating the Android over Windows PC, but we don't really know the result. So we heard someone had done that, but we don't know if the result is good or not.
And does the AIS also show heading and turning information?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unfortunately, here we don't have an AIS simulator to show you, but all the AIS information are properly displayed, and you can establish a collision distance and or a target to be followed in a way that you are alerted in case you have a collision or a possible collision, potential collision with that target. Okay.
So virtual, can
Yeah,
we switch?
we may switch to the other.
John is fine if we start talking about the virtual AIS topics.
I think John.
John?
Yes,
It's fine if we switch to the AIS, virtual AIS topic?
yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now, on suggestion, on John's suggestion, we want to talk about the virtual AIS, especially starting from. Can you switch to the presentation? Sorry. Especially starting from the announcement, or it's not really an announcement, it's currently a proposal from the US Coast Guard to remove several hundreds of, if not thousands of buoys, lights, navigate along the northeast coast of the United States. That's certainly something that is concerning all the navigators, and we really don't know what they will do and if they are going to proceed on this, or it's just a proposal at the moment. What we know is what Aquamap is doing. Aquamap is updating every day using the Coast Guard lights list and local notice to mariner. Aquamap is updating its database, and this database contains also virtual navets. We have virtual navets, virtual AIS navets, and we include all of them, even if today there are not so many compared to the total. I mean, there are something like 80,000 navets managed by the Coast Guard, and only a couple of thousand are virtual today. There are virtual, as most of you may know, there are virtual simulated or physical AIS transmitter placed on buoys or lights, and we include all of them. We are planning to improve the appearance, because currently we discriminate between only between virtual and fixed AIS aids, but there are many more. So we are working to interpret properly the US Coast Guard information and parse all this information to have the best way, the best display on the screen. So that's more or less what we expect will happen in the future. We really don't know what the Coast Guard will decide, but we wanted to tell that we are ready to manage any situation. The same happen also when you connect your AIS. So we will get in real time through the Wi-Fi connection with your AIS device, we will get all those virtual target on the screen. That is what we do today. Yeah. Unfortunately, you can go to the next one. Oh, sorry, no, I'm sorry. The previous one. Unfortunately, these virtual aids are new object. If you look at this screen, you can see that the NOAA chart is calling this feature new object because they are not yet standardized. And for this reason, you will not see, even if the NOAA chart includes them, you will not see them in many of the other applications because this new object is a new encoding. And so several of the other applications are ignoring them. We collect them through the US Coast Guard, so not using the NOAA chart in a way that we can manage them properly. I don't know if there are any questions.
Yeah, Claudio and Giorgio, we know there's a problem with the virtual aids. We know there's a problem with the discontinuing of a lot of the buoys and pulling buoys and local aids to mariners. I think record keeping may be an issue. The discontinuation has been paused, but they still haven't removed the to be discontinued from the local aids to mariner chart. How anyone is going to organize that, I'm not sure. Frank is here. He's been very involved in that. Frank Smith, our vice president. About virtual aids, all we can say is it's already started in local operations, but there's no integrated scheme. So vigilance, I just don't know how this is going to work, but hats off to you to be leaning forward to be able to support it, because they're expecting people to have virtual aids in their pocket, and the only thing that will work will be an Android, a cell, or a Apple, a mobile in small boats. And they're also assuming a lot of other things too.
Yeah, especially those virtual are really, we feel they might be very dangerous for those. There are so many people not using any electronic on board still, and so we don't know what will happen. Yeah,
I know. So very appreciated the work you're doing. We will stay in touch with you as we find out things. We'll tell you what we find out. Robert Scott has a question. What data does Aqua Maps draw for marinas fuel along the route, and how current is that data?
What data Aqua draw for marinas fuel, etc. along the route?
Yeah, we use the community point of interest from Active Captain and Waterway Guide. Especially Waterway Guide is a very detailed data set that is daily checked, and to get the fuel price and to get all the let's say to verify all the information they put inside. These are very, very interesting, and it's very, very powerful data set.
They do a
And
wonderful job. They
yeah,
complement your work and you complement theirs.
Yeah.
Bill Miles asks,
I'm
are the recent
submissing
cutbacks to NOAA going to affect the data?
more going to affect the data.
cosa?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
We don't
Probably.
know. That's a good question for sure. We really don't know. What we know is that NOAA is working very, very hard today, trying to, let's say, change the data format. They changed, they moved from around 1,000 charts to more than 6,000 today because they clipped the charts in smaller square chunks. So we know they're working very hard. But we know that also that the problem with all the hydrographic office is the age of the data. So if the countries have cut in the budget, they certainly cannot have money to do new survey and improve the quality of the information. We know for sure there are still areas of the 1950, 1960 survey. So we really are happy to work in the United States where we have the US Army Corps of Engineers because they do a great work especially in the dangerous area like Lockwood Folly and the Intracoastal Waterway. But the rest of the data, we don't know what. I mean, I'm sure they will do their best with the money and people they have.
Yes, I agree. They work so hard.
Oh,
Office
sure.
of Coastal Survey has just been doing amazing work trying to fix things and try to get some difficult requirements put into place. Bill Miles also has another question. How often are the community data updated? Bob 423 has been great, but is it possible to verify community information? I don't know if that's in, you may know that answer. I don't. I know that Waterway Guide collects everything and updates as much as they can. Some of it's community, some of it's local information, some of it's Coast Guard.
Yeah, as I said, the waterway guide data, I'm sure it's updated daily, and we can download in any time and update our database by just clicking a button. The active captain data, we know that, I mean, we can say in the past it was a little better and was much more updated, but still we hear people are using that tool to improve the quality of the POIs. The frequency of the update, we really don't know. I mean, it could be daily or weekly. We don't know. With our application, you can update just pressing the update now button, and we get the latest data immediately.
Automatically is done daily.
Okay, automatically it's done daily. Okay. But
I have to think Waterway Guide is doing a very difficult job and doing a good job of it.
Yeah, and the waterway guide is a different work. I mean, why the active captain is the crowd doing the update, so we don't know the frequency. With the waterway guide, we know that they have several people daily updating and checking and getting all the comments from the users and updating again. So we are very happy with that data.
Now, Bill Miles says, thank you, awesome app and program. Thank you. It's my go-to nav program. Thank you for that, Bill. And then hi, Scott Patterson. I've only tried to use Aqua maps along the East Coast, US, love it, but curious to know if similar mapping is being done for European waterways.
Okay. I mean, we cover the whole Europe on offshore, let's say. So whatever the hydrographic office provide, we use it. As far as the inland waterways, we have a very good detail in the Netherlands and Belgium, as well as Germany. And then we cover just the Danube, I don't remember the name in English. Anyway, the long river, the longest river is in the Europe. Then, just to give you some other example, we do not have very much coverage in the France inland waterways, as well as into the UK. But we cover the whole inland waterways, for example, in Sweden, and all the major lakes too, as well as also in Finland, we cover all the major lakes. I mean, we work daily to find new data. Obviously, there we don't have a good data set like the US Army Corps of Engineers we have in the United States. But so we use the hydrographic office, the official data, let's say, only.
So the US really probably is ahead of some countries in, at least for the ICW and for some of the US territories where they have been surveying the shoaling and depths and dredging. So really the ICW area is really a very nice place for you to have your application, I think.
Yeah,
Worldwide too, though. I mean, if the data's there, you're presenting it, but you're kind of constrained about the data. Is that
sure.
correct?
I was reading,
Yes.
yeah, I was reading the other comment. How about the coastline of Italy? I mean, we are from Italy, so we expect to have a very good detailed chart. In reality, like all the other, we use the Italian Hydrographic Office charts there. In addition, we have done a fishing product for Italy that is quite interesting, but there is nothing more than that there.
What is the age of some of the Italian charts? How often do they survey or resurvey? I realize that.
Yeah, we get weekly local notice to mariner, and we update the charts weekly in Italy. But also there, I mean, also in Italy, we have the same budget problem all the other hydrographic offices have. And so they do not very frequently survey. And you may find in the offshore survey that are 70 years old. And maybe inside the largest port, you can have a weekly update due to the dredging or whatever. So it's really, really variable.
Well, offshore, if it's deep and there aren't rocks, and rocks
Yeah.
don't just suddenly appear, it's probably, if it is 50, 60 years old, if it's 2,000 foot deep, it's probably still 2,000 foot deep.
Yeah, sure, sure.
So that's a safety issue. The Pacific, what do you feel about the Pacific data?
Okay, Pacific data, let's say that, can you zoom out just a sec? Okay, we have obviously the Hawaii, and then we have New Zealand, Australia, and Fiji and Solomon Island, as well as Vanuatu, and what else? We don't have French Polynesia. We don't have what else? I don't remember. Anyway, from New Zealand to Fiji and to Australia and Solomon, they are included. Yeah, we have, but that's US data. We might have some solution. I mean, mainly we didn't do the French Polynesia because the SHAM hydrographic office is very expensive. And so we decided not to invest money there. But we may do Indonesia and Thailand We already have Maldives and Seychelles, as well as South Africa. Yeah, that's no more Pacific, that's Indian Ocean.
Yeah. You are the best there, as far as I'm concerned. So thank you for that unexpected segue to the Pacific. Robert Morrison says, is it safe to say European data is as robust as it can be relative to other apps, considering the available data? I think the answer is yes.
We
Let you
we can say that our data worldwide is as robust as all the other because we use only official data. So if by robust you mean the best available data from the hydrographic office, that's what we are. Obviously, others rely also on the crowd sources data. And for example, Navionics use the sonar charts. We don't have the sonar charts. But for example, in other areas in Europe, but also in Australia, we use also some local data wherever it is available. For sure, if you compare our charts, for example, in Italy, with all the other competitors, you cannot find any difference because all of us use the Italian hydrographic office. The same is for France, for Spain, Portugal, or whatever is available there. Again,
I think,
it's the official data.
and I think official is important because crowdsourcing is crowdsourcing. You do not know on a sonar, radar, or reading of a depth if they have calibrated the depth. And 1 or 2 feet in some places could get you in a lot of trouble. But, or if something's off a little bit, um, just, official is important. And I think you do have the best data. You've got certainly the best engineering expertise in the apps. Charles Thurin says, while cruising the Great Loop for a second time, Aqua Maps was at the helm. It was my go-to for lots of information I couldn't find on my Ray Marine unit, especially bridge clearances. Many thanks for a great app. So I think that's
Thank you.
says it for a lot of us. The riverine areas, the Mississippi and north, there's very much a limit of some of that information. So you provided a really wonderful service.
Yeah, the last question about the possibility to have the Aqua map on proprietary plotter like Garmin or Raymarine, that would be great for us, obviously. But we have to convince Raymarine to implement our data. That's it. We already tried several times, and we had several people writing to Raymarine. We cannot decide ourselves. No.
Well, they're very commercial.
Yeah.
So I've gone over the messages. I have a new message here. And this is from Robert Morrison. Hi, Bob. In our first 8 months of cruising Texas to Maine, all of this was new to us. And Aqua Maps has become my favorite and provides security useful tool. Thank you very much. And then Sylvia Schroeder says, I'm sorry I missed the beginning. It's available online afterwards to watch and listen. Yes, it is. We will send you a copy of it. Everyone who has signed up will get a copy of this presentation. Again, very valuable. And I know that the routing is something that's extremely difficult to do. It's one thing if it's offshore and you're not going to hit anything, but ICW is tricky. Anything near shore is tricky, and I appreciate your being careful and concerned about the safety of people rather than just putting a product out. It's appreciated.
Thank you.
I know that you all are coming to the U.S. to the Annapolis Boat Show for the Sailboat Show in Annapolis. That will be the middle of October. What is it, the 9th through the 12th or
From the 7th, from the 8th to the 12th, if I'm not wrong.
8th to the 12th. They will
Yeah.
be at a booth. Claudio will be there at a booth.
Yes, we will have
SSCA will
our
have,
booth.
and we may even get together sometime, guys.
Yep.
Are you at any other boat shows or events in the US?
Not planned for the moment.
No plan. What about in other areas in Europe? Are you going to any of the
We went to the Düsseldorf. We will be to the Metz, but not with our booth. We will visit, but not with our booth.
Yeah,
Maybe next year will be maybe in Italy, but not yet sure. We are still planning.
Okay. You won't be at the SSCA GAM in Pasadena, but maybe I could convince you for a webinar at that time,
Okay.
maybe. Well, we'll take that offline and talk.
Okay.
But thank you very much. This has been very educational. You have a wonderful product. You're relying on a lot of government data to be good. Some of it's not as young as we would like it to be. And so Sylvia says, we've been using Aquamap on a regular basis, always at the helm, great app. One of the issues experienced down the ICW, the boat icon sometimes would go on a walkabout way off the patch. That might be something to do with GPS interference. Maybe,
That may be a GPS problem sometime.
Yeah, I don't
it
know.
might be a GPS issue.
Yeah, I
But-
mean, we are happy to investigate if we can have. I would suggest to contact the support, and we are happy to investigate immediately. That.
And that's the one thing, you do have somebody who answers the phone, so to speak. Thank you very much. I will thank you very much for this. We're at an hour, 11 minutes, and it's appreciated. We'll have this has been recorded. We will save it. And thank you very much. And thank everyone for attending. We've got a good crowd, and I think that you've offered and shared some very valuable information. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John, for inviting us. It was really a pleasure for us to demonstrate our product. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And again,
Thank you
this will
to all.
be, thank you. And thank you, Frank. You were very quiet. And we will have this is recorded. You will be getting a copy of this in the email from us after this, after we process it the next day. So thank you guys very much. Have a great day, guys. It's morning. Have another cup of coffee. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone.
Bye.